Let's talk about some common questions regarding wireless Rain-Kliks. I have a Pro C controller here hanging on the wall with a wireless Rain-Klik receiver and the wireless Rain-Klik transmitter. The WRC is a two-part receiver transmitter setup. The transmitter has a mounting bracket, a dangling wireless antenna, a red LED bulb on the bottom that lights up whenever the transmitter is transmitting. On the top it has a test button. If you hold the button down, it transmits a signal over to the receiver showing that he's wet, and when we release the button, it goes back to green or dry under normal operation. The top has a dry out time cap, and that controls these little windows right here. As you open the cap, it exposes more windows, allowing the stack of discs inside to dry out much quicker after a rain event. If you want to leave the system turned off longer after a rain event, you'll close up some of these windows. And you'll have to adjust that based on your local weather, how long you want it to be turned off after a rain event. It depends on your local weather, humidity, temperature, local conditions as to how fast it will dry out. So that's the basics of the transmitter portion. Your receiver may come with a rubber cover, much like this one. And the first thing you'll notice is that it says important. Sensor status light will turn red when you first power it up. It'll stay red for a maximum of the first 1 hour. The transmitter communicates to the receiver every hour. So if you install this and do nothing, that light should turn green if the transmitter is dry within the hour. Or if you install it, power it up, the light is red under sensor status, you can simply hold down the transmit button on the transmitter and it will send a signal over to the receiver as to the state of his being, if it's wet or if it's dry. The top light here is sensor bypass. Behind the sticker you'll notice that we have a rain sensor bypass button. If you want to ignore the functions of the rain sensor altogether, you can simply go to sensor bypass and the top red light will light up. If you want to bring the rain sensor back online, take off the sensor bypass button and the light goes out. And here in the controller we have also a rain sensor switch on all of our controllers. And it's in the same two positions, bypass or active. If you're inactive, that brings the rain sensor control into the controller. If you put the switch to bypass, it ignores all the input from the rain sensor and it will allow the controller to run at the controller level only. One more quick note. If your sensor is turning red when it rains and green when it dries out, but it keeps on watering, you want to make sure that you've removed the chrome jumper tab. And this little chrome jumper tab, what its job is to connect the two sensor terminals in lieu of a rain sensor. It comes from the factory with the jumper installed. If you don't remove it, the sensor will never be able to turn the sprinklers off. Whether or not you're in active or bypass or whatever you're doing, it will not turn the sprinklers off. So this does need to be removed. Very important. Once you know that you've got the sensor removed and everything's all hooked up correctly, a couple of things might occur down the road. One common question is, my sprinklers never turn on and I look at my receiver and the sensor status light is red. Well, what happens is on occasion the receiver may lose the address of the transmitter. The transmitter has a fixed ID number that it sends out to the receivers. They come as a matched pair from the factory, so they should already know what each other's ID or address is. But in case the receiver does lose the address of the transmitter, this is the procedure to readdress the receiver. What you'll do first is verify that when you hold down the test button, the little red light does come on. And if it does, you know that your transmitter is sending out a signal. Now it may talk to it up close here, but if you bring this out to the other side of the block building, 4 stories up, it may not get reception from that point back to here. So you want to make sure, first of all, that they are on the same frequency. Secondly, what you'll do here is you'll turn the power off to the controller. And when the power is off, the controller and the receiver will go blank. Next, what you'll do is hold down the rain sensor bypass button as you power back up the controller. The light will turn an obvious orange color, and you'll hold down the black button to transmit over to the receiver, and the light will turn green. That tells us now that your receiver is listening to this transmitter.